before we get into this episode, there's something that might be of interest that I wanted to tell you about. Scene and Heard, who run this podcast, have been asked by Scotland Food and Drink to undertake a strategic review of the Scotland Food and Drink Excellence Awards. Now, these Excellence Awards have been going for almost 20 years and are a huge mainstay of the food and drink sector. But it's time to ensure that they're still relevant. So if you have ever been involved in the Scotland Food and Drink Excellence Awards, or even if you've ever had an opinion about them, we would love for you, please, to complete our survey. So if you go to the On Farm Twitter, which is at @on_farm UK, and click the link in the bio, there will be a tab in there that will take you to the survey, and it should only take you a very short while to complete, but we would be enormously grateful.
Hi, it's Monty for this episode of On Farm, and we're at Farm Ness, just outside Inverness, almost on the banks of Loch Ness. So there's a lot of Ness in this introduction. We are catching up with Joanna from Farm Ness, and some of you might remember that Anna did an episode with her back in, I think it was like January 2022, recorded remotely. So Dave and I are on a bit of a Highland road trip, and we decided that we were going to actually stop in here at Farm Ness and catch up with Joanna.
So Farm Ness is a diversification project at Dunedin Mains, and we've opened it up to the public.
Great to be here, because if I remember rightly, when Anna spoke with you, you'd only been up and running with the farm shop for a couple of weeks, and now we're standing here and there's a lot of children around, there's a whole lot of families around, and there's activities. What's been going on? Tell us what's been happening.
Yeah, so we kind of changed the journey we were on a little bit. So when we started, it was primarily just a farm shop, and we did a few events. I think on the TV we showed doing the Christmas event, and then as we came out the back of COVID, shopper habits changed massively. So during lockdown, everyone was into farm shops. And then suddenly it just kind of nosedived. Everyone went back to the supermarket, and we found ourselves just a bit like, we need to change what we're doing. So we started to focus more and more on making a kids kind of play area, because there's nothing like that in Inverness. And that's been really popular actually. It's just come from strength to strength, and we're getting bigger slowly.
And is that a hook that actually therefore encourages people to come to the farm shop?
Yeah, absolutely. So the idea, it kind of always was our idea that we wanted to have families coming, children learning where their food came from, and then stopping in at the shop and buying produce off the farm on the way home. But we started with just the shop, and definitely now people do go into the shop more. There's a higher footfall, and we're just slowly making more things like ready meals and jams, to kind of give that all-round experience. I
mean, we're very interested in this. You just made reference to television. That was the BBC This Farming Life. That's you and Donald were stars of whatever series. I can't remember what series that was. And if viewers had looked at that and listened to the previous pod, as you say, you started with the farm shop. From our perspective, it's just really interesting to visit, to take a bit of a dive into that, the journey and as you say, what's happened since, and how the farm shop has, you reckon, COVID, and people maybe came out here and thought it was brilliant to buy local produce, and that's maybe died a little bit, and now it's about this, and but it's still a farm, isn't it? It's still all about the farm.
Yeah, it still is all about the farm really, and that's actually quite tricky. We're trying to balance almost 3 separate businesses at the moment, we're finding. So we've got the haulage business, which is Donald's. He's got the main farm, which is 3,000 acres, so it's quite big. And then we've got this little nugget in the middle of the farm, and it's a lot of spinning plates. But yeah, the farm is still the priority, and definitely for Donald, that's his big main priority.
Listeners can't see this, but your priorities are obviously switching around a little bit at the moment, because you're standing here speaking to us with a little one strapped to your chest.
Yeah, so I've got a 2-week-old baby as well now. Talk about spinning plates. There's a few smashing maybe, but yeah, it's changed the way that I'm running things, I guess. I'm doing it a bit more remotely. I've got a really good team of staff that are in the shop and the play area, and we do live next door, so it's easy for me to keep an eye and a check. Yeah, I've also got a baby.
How's that been? It is spinning plates, but how's that been in terms of getting reliable staff and staff that you can trust to develop things in your way?
Oh, we're really lucky. We've actually got some staff off the estate. So we're tenant farmers. We're on a massive estate, and we've got some local people off the estate. We've got one girl who is amazing. She's a supervisor and she really works closely with me and runs it. She does quite a lot. So yeah, we've just been really lucky with our staff. But I like to think that because a lot of it's outside, it's working with animals, we're offering a different kind of job than the kind of like 9 to 5 inside a building. Definitely takes the right type of person to want to work here. But when you find them, oh, they've been amazing. Yeah.
Because that's it. You know, we hear so much about whether it's farms, rural businesses or any business at the moment struggling to recruit and struggling to hold on, and therefore struggling to be able to either develop the business or take a little bit of time out of the business to have a baby, etc. You know, you must be quite grateful for the team you've managed to build in. And
oh, massively grateful. Don't get me wrong, we have had points where we've been short-staffed. Like the day before I gave birth, I was working in the shop. I was even working on the morning of giving birth, so was Donald. So I've had 2 weeks off working in the shop. Let's not get carried away.
And you're now here 2 weeks in, you know, having a chat with us for the On Farm podcast.
Yay. I mean, there's definitely been no maternity leave. I think within a couple of days of her being born, I was back doing the bookkeeping and things. So there's definitely no maternity leave, but you know, it's nice because I don't have the dread of going back to work in a year's time. I've never left work and I enjoy my work. It's what I've created, and I really like it, or I wouldn't be doing it.
That's an interesting take on life, because you were a teacher before, is that right?
Yeah.
And so when you had your other children...
I got a gift of a year off for each one, and that was lovely. But you know, when I went on this farming life, I was saying how I was so lonely on the farm, there was no community. So I had my children and was isolated really quickly in this rural area. I didn't know any of the neighbours because I just kind of moved here not long before giving birth. So now I definitely don't have that isolation. I've got a massive community around me now, and it's really nice.
I mean, you must have a community of even regular customers and people coming back here time and time again, do they? Yeah,
it's lovely. Yeah, we've got really regular customers, which almost become your friends, and you see them out and about and you're like hello, and some have actually given cards and gifts for the new baby. It's so funny. Like Donald was saying that yesterday, how different it is to having our first child, like how our lives have changed and how there's more people in our lives now, I guess.
That's really like heartening to hear. You know, it's not just a business, but it's enhanced, you know, it's enhanced what you can offer on the farm, what you can bring to the farm. It's enhanced your life on the farm.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, that is, when it goes right back to it, that's exactly what I wanted to create. I came from a small village where there was a sense of community, and I really struggled moving to Donald's farm. Like, it's a mile from Inverness, so there's a massive like community of the city, but there's no small community, I didn't think. But there actually is when you dig deep. It was all there. Yeah.
You just needed this to help you unlock it.
Yeah, definitely. And like the local shop and post office for this wee area had all shut down, so it has created more of a kind of community again for the people that live here.
You're creating something for the community, an asset for the community and jobs for the community as well.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. I think this summer we were employing 15 people, so like last year I think when we were interviewed we maybe had one member of staff. So yeah, it's created jobs and it's definitely created a community spirit.
That's pretty rapid growth. That's pretty impressive growth.
Yeah, they're not all full time.
No, but you know, in terms of any measure of a business, if you can justify and keep that number of people, you know, busy and engaged, etc., that's tremendous. You must be very proud of that.
Yeah, it is mad. It's definitely the growth of the play park has really taken off, and I can see like exponential growth going forward with that, hopefully.
We're here. We're in a polytunnel on the play park, and you've got a Splat the Rat.
Yes, yeah.
We might have a go at that later. Producer Dave's here today, listeners, and he's nodding. He's going to have a go at Splat the Rat. What's the bales? What's the bale thing behind us? What's that all about?
So that is a straw pit. We went around lots of different farms before we set this up. So we actually stole that idea from Arne Pryor down in Stirling, the pumpkin farm.
Down in Stirling, yeah.
Yes, yeah. So I have to give that to Rebecca. That wasn't me. I stole it from her. But basically the kids jump in off the side and can like chuck straw all over each other.
Can we have a look? Because
are you going to do it?
Well, no, but what I was going to say, that's really interesting because like I remember being a boy and running on the farm and climbing on bales and jumping into straw and what have you. And I just sort of would have kind of thought in this day and age, you know, that would be frowned upon for well, it's fine maybe for our own kids, but I wouldn't have thought that would be a public thing. But obviously they love it and it's great and it's part of what your offering is.
So yeah, a lot of these things come with a lot of legislation. So we've got it's quite low, it's small height. We have someone supervising it. We have a play park attendant all the time going round. So yeah, it does come with restrictions, but yeah, kids love it. It's so simple.
What a great, easy, no disrespect, but easy, simple, straightforward diversification idea. A polytunnel with a straw pit.
Yeah.
Some mini Heston bales in a rectangle and a whole load of straw dumped in it.
Yeah.
And it'll be homegrown straw as well, I'm guessing.
It's homegrown straw. Yeah. Yes. It needs to be replaced quite often, but then Donald can just bed his cattle with it.
The cattle with the bales. So it's nothing's going to waste.
There's no waste. No.
Basically, you're making this straw work for its living. It's not just being trampled under cattle. It's paying for its way more than tenfold, I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely.
So how does that work then? I'm saying paying for its way. What do people do? Do they come to the shop and buy a ticket for this, or how does it work?
Yep, so they can buy a ticket, come in, and then there's a play area, there's bales, sand pits, and we've got a new air pillow, actually. That's been the biggest investment.
Air pillow?
Yep, so it's a big bouncy trampoline pillow.
Oh, yes. Aha, yeah, right, out there, right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's probably been the biggest pull, actually, for people around Inverness, because Inverness doesn't have anything like that.
Joanna, as we're standing here in the middle of all this, you're saying to us that 12 months ago you had 1 employee, now you've got 15.
Yeah.
Just talk us through the evolution. What was here first? What came in after? What's the how does it all fit together?
So first was the shop, which we still haven't managed to build. We only got our building warrant recently, so hopefully that will build next year.
Because the shop, I'm interrupting, but the shop just now, just again for listeners' benefit, is that's a sort of temporary structure of wooden cabins, basically.
Yeah. So it comes with its own problems. Yeah, it was cheap to do, but there's other issues with it. And then we had the polytunnel here as well when we started. So that was to give shelter for doing events, like we did the Christmas event on the BBC. So it was just to give a bit of shelter for people to sit in. But there was no fencing or anything. You just walk from the shop into the polytunnel and sit here. So since then we've fenced the perimeter and spent quite a lot of money trying to safeguard children from going onto the actual farm.
Mm-hmm. And the shop, you're talking about planning permission to build something more substantial, as it were.
Yeah, but we've actually already outgrown what we have planning permission for.
All right. So that's good news, isn't it, in some ways?
I don't know, it took 3 years to get the planning. I'm like, oh no, I can't cope with having to go back. So yeah, we're still kind of deliberating, what do we do going forward? Do we build that or go back for something bigger? We're not really sure. So
I guess with that, one of the things that we'll have to include in this podcast is a promise to be back here in 3 years' time to see what comes of it.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah,
hopefully there'll be something better than that porta cabin there.
So, again, looking outside, I want to have a look at the big air
cushion. We're going to go for a wander.
Yeah, absolutely.
When you say a look, you mean a go?
Well.
Yeah, I've not actually bounced on it yet because I was pregnant. So, yeah, we got it at Easter.
And I'm certain that with little one in tow, you're not going to be bouncing on it.
Probably not.
It might have to be my job.
Yeah.
Or I could hold the mic and producer Dave might have a go on the big air cushion.
Think of the forms we'd have to fill in.
No jumping when wet or near the edge. Yeah, no footwear. Right.
Yeah. So, yeah, that was quite a big investment for us. But as you can see, jumping when wet, it does come with problems being in the north of Scotland. It's wet quite a lot.
Essentially, it's a more permanent equivalent of a bouncy castle.
Yes. Yeah. It's like a cross between a bouncy castle and a trampoline.
But on a business side of things, you talk about it was quite a big investment, and for people listening that are diversifying, etc. How do you look at these things? Do you just sort of build it and they will come type thing? You have the shop and then you think, well, we'll do a play park, and then are you just sort of looking for the next idea and hoping that then, or how does it work?
I think Donald and I are masters of winging it. I actually spoke to I went to Heads of Ayr Farm Park and spoke to the owner there, and he said the best piece of advice he could give me would be to put in one of these jelly bellies, and then he gave me a couple of things to then, after I've done that, put this in, and he based that on what was most popular at his park. So we did it completely based on that conversation with him.
That's good. That's like sort of sharing best practice, isn't it? I mean, that's quite good to get that from the farming community.
Oh, so kind of him. Yeah, he didn't need to do that at all. He took about an hour out of his day and came and chatted to me about all the mistakes he'd made and what he would have done and what he thinks I should do. promised that one day he would come and visit and give us some advice as well on making it bigger.
The big jelly belly, that's one thing. Again, a big investment, and I'm sure that's going to be a big attraction. But again, it's not all about the big investments, because there you are with what are we calling this?
So this is our straw bale mountain. And basically kids come, run along it, chase each other, and have loads of fun. It's mad how much fun they have in it.
The Bale Mountain is some mini Hestons and then some little runs of round bales out of the baler that have only maybe sort of 2 foot high, and then there's some 4 foot bales, and then there's maybe a 5 foot or 2 in the middle, just random sizes all put together. And I must say again, the sort of fun that I would have had when I was that age, but it's really, really ingenious, I would say, to actually see that being put to use for the paying public, for the people that actually are paying for you and your 15 employees and making your business more sustainable. Well done. I think that's brilliant. A few bales.
Yeah, it's the funnest thing from your childhood, isn't it? But this is very strategically planned with weight distribution and sizing. A lot of planning went into it, whereas it's not like, when you went into your dad's barn and started making tunnels.
It's very strategically planned for weight distribution and sizing.
Yeah, no, it is.
And you presumably have people from the council with clipboards come and check it's all okay.
So
you have to be very strict.
Our insurers as well are very strict about it. So we actually had it higher, and the people from the council and our insurers came and weren't happy with the height of it, so we made it smaller. Yeah. That was actually easier to do than the air pillow, because the air pillow the council had never experienced up here, so there was a lot of what is this? We had to fly an inspector from Manchester to come up.
Really?
Yeah, at very short notice, get him up here and give it the all clear. Yeah.
That's a great day out for that guy.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I was lashing sweat with stress meanwhile. Running to the airport, picked him up, got him here. He did a quick inspection and give him the okay, and then flew back down to Manchester.
Right.
Because I think there's only maybe one inspector in Scotland for these. So it's hard to get it inspected and passed, and I need to get him back every year to pass it.
So when I want to diversify or retire from the On Farm podcast, I could be the big jelly belly inspector.
Yes, yeah. The guy who's an inspector used to be a radio DJ.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, here we are. We've got some big air cushion jelly belly jumpers. Oh, they're loving it.
And do you find that most of the kids and families that come here are sort of local, or is it tourists? I heard some people with, I think, Spanish voices earlier.
Oh yeah, we've had
mixture of the two.
Loads of tourists. So the schools just went back. Was that last week? And before the schools went back, the place was just absolutely packed. Like the car park was oversubscribed. People were parking down at the farm. And because it was so busy, that I think that was the case as well, of local people were coming with their kids, but the tourists were seeing all the cars and then they were coming in as well.
So we've done a 10-day holiday in Scotland, so we're staying in Fort Augustus at the moment. We've just been to Inverness, and my wife spotted this place on the way to Inverness, so we said we'll come on the way back, getting some steam built off, and then have an ice cream before we drive all the way back to Augustus.
So you've literally just seen it on the side of the road and gone, that looks nice, we'll pop in later.
Yeah.
What's been your favourite thing about your holiday?
Seeing the Highland cows.
And what happened yesterday?
It was my birthday.
Oh!
My birthday was yesterday.
Happy birthday.
But yesterday we broke down in the car.
Tell people that.
We just want our children to get fresh air. It's just great playing outside. They're having the best time, aren't you? Love the trampoline, the tractors, the coffee's a bonus for the mums. And the shop's lovely too. There's plenty of fresh produce and it's great.
What else did you see? What else have we seen? Have we seen goats?
No.
Yeah. And rabbits?
Yeah.
Yeah. And cows? Yes. What else, Alfie?
Highland cows.
Highland cows? With alpacas? Where's the alpacas?
And I saw Nessie poop.
You saw Nessie poop.
The trampoline's fantastic. I think
the Jelly Belly, I think it's called.
Yeah. I think it's the first one up in the Highlands actually. So that's good fun, and I've enjoyed it myself as well. So.
Again, on a sort of business side of things, is that, are you heavily kind of promoting that on your socials, etc.? Come along and jump on the air cushion, the only one in Highlands, and
maybe we haven't actually advertised it enough. That's probably the whole spinning plates thing as well. Yeah, that you start dropping the ball here and there.
You've not had anything else to do. What have you been messing about?
Yeah, I need to up my promotion. Yeah.
I think that's, in all seriousness, I think that's something you're really good at. Like your social media, your Instagram you're complete. I mean, I don't know how you find the time, to be honest, to keep posting and actually, I always think with those things, and it's probably from the BBC This Farming Life programme, but you have to give people a real insight into your real lives, don't you? It's the good, the bad and the ugly sometimes.
Yeah, definitely. And that is something maybe where I think our social media used to be better, because I did show more in the past of what our kind of life was like on the farm and having this as a project. Whereas now I've got all these plates spinning, I'm not really showing my personal life at all, because I just probably at times feel a little bit overwhelmed. Yeah, so not showing as much. But definitely want to get back to doing that, because I think it is important. You know, my favourite social media accounts and places I want to go where they give like a little glimpse behind the curtain of what life is actually like running this. Yeah.
Well, hopefully we can tick that box for you today as well with the pod. You know, we're hoping that people listening to this are getting a real insight into. I'm trying to do that. Hopefully my questions are doing that. Give people listening who think about diversifying, who would like to diversify, and kind of insight into what's involved. Also, hopefully it's a good plug for you, for people that want to just come along and jump on the big belly and have a look at the Bale Run and Bale Mountain and what have you. But getting away from all of that, because I can see animals, and we are certainly on a farm as well.
So yeah, we do have some animals, as Donald likes to call, kind of hobby farming. So we've got our 2x2 for Noah's Ark, and then the field on the other side is what I'm planning to grow the business onto, but Donald still uses that for sheep and cattle and things, so it's quite nice.
That's a farming field.
That's a farming field on that side, yeah. Right. So yeah, we have arguments over that quite a lot. I think he was doing silage on it recently. But yeah, it's quite nice, because sometimes, you know, I think a week ago it was just full of sheep, so you still get that proper farm experience. Yeah.
But to the Joe public coming along, the proper farm, maybe that's in the next field. But you've got your 2x2, you've got your Noah's Ark. So what have we got? You've got some Highland cattle.
Yep, so we've got some Highland cows for the tourists. They're a big hit. Then we've got our goats that were on This Farming Life. We've got quite a few of them now. And
celebrity goats.
Oh, yeah. Celebrity goats. Yeah. They've been breeding like goats do then, have they?
Well, actually, I've been buying them in.
Oh, you've been buying goats?
Yeah, one of my goats had a kid. The one on This Farming Life that was like a dancing goat that everybody loved actually died. Pip, she died. There's one that looks like her, so I wasn't sure whether to pretend that was Pip, but
the everlasting goat.
Yeah.
It's like a child and their hamster.
Yeah.
Looks a bit different. No, it's fine.
Just got a bit older, that goat. Yeah.
It's actually male, so you'd have to be a farmer probably to notice it's not Pip.
Pipette. So the goats, and then is that alpacas as well?
Yeah, and then we got some alpacas, so they're new. Yeah, they're quite exciting to have. People love those.
Okay.
And they took a bit of bedding in, I think. They took a bit of everybody getting used to them and them getting used to being here.
Yeah, they take a really long time to settle in. They actually came from a trekking centre, so they were really friendly before they came here. And then they came and just were like, oh, don't know what this is. We're by the road, there's all these people. So it took a long time for them to trust us.
They're quite clever animals. And I actually, on the subject of farm diversification, I actually promised my wife that I'd give a plug on the pod to B-rope alpacas down in the borders where we are, because Moira, my wife, and the girls, and they took Granny as well, and they had a lovely day trekking with alpacas a couple of weeks ago in the school holidays and really loved it. And to be fair, me being me, I was a little bit cynical. I thought, well, I'm working with sheep most days, I'm not going to take an alpaca for a walk on a rope. But they loved it. And it just shows, again, farm diversifications take all shapes and sizes and all manner of ideas.
And I think it's a case as well of you become a bit complacent and used to living on a farm that you don't realise such a simple thing would be such a big hit with people that don't live on a farm. So you take it for granted. Think, who on earth would want to come and walk an alpaca or a goat? But yeah, that's our busiest days where we get people to come along and interact with animals.
Yeah, I mean, our girls have their own ponies. They're leading on a piece of rope. They've got sheep everywhere that I can barely get them to help me with. But going to another farm to take alpacas a walk was a massive hit. And it was really nice because I think Granny really enjoyed it too. And I think that was a great day. So a big shout out to them at Beer Rope Alpacas. Yeah.
What's next? What's next for you guys here?
Yeah.
How are you going to expand? What's the next big adventure?
I think we have lots of little things we're wanting to do, just like simple things like I bought a fertiliser spreader, I'm going to make that into a basketball hoop, and a better track for...
Bought a fertiliser spreader to make into a basketball hoop.
Yeah, that took some convincing of Donald. He wasn't very happy.
So I'm gonna sort of in my head think this is a kind of a smaller, older one. It's a kind of conical shape, an ice cream cone type shape.
Yeah.
And you're going to mount that on a big pole.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a basketball hoop.
Well, no. So it will be in the ground still, but we'll put a big pole, like
Into
a
it.
base behind it,
Right.
with the basketball hoop, and then it'll come down the spreader and out like almost a bowling ball.
Yeah. Where do you get these ideas from?
Just
Like
on the
Scrap Heap
internet, I
Challenge,
think.
is it not?
Pinterest.
Yeah,
All right.
Pinterest.
Yeah.
But it was funny going to the auction to buy that, because before I started all of this, I hated the machinery auction, the sale on a Saturday, and Donald always goes along to it, and it's so boring, like these bits of machinery. And now I'm really excited, and he tries to leave me at home because he knows that I'm going to want to buy scrap.
It'll be someone else's scrap, and look, I'll make some money out of it, honestly.
Yeah.
Is that how it works?
Yeah. I'm like, oh, this could be this.
That's brilliant.
Very
That's
good.
You got to have a mind like that to be able to come up with the things that you come up with, I think.
Definitely, yeah.
Because you've got the old Fergie here as well, the old grey Fergie.
Yeah, that's actually a massive hit. People love getting their picture taken on it.
That's sort of one of the landmarks.
Yeah, but we have actually bought a new one to replace, because that one still works. It was Donald's dad's.
Ah, right.
And it does the tilling in the fields. So
Oh, right, so that one actually has to go to work.
that one has to go to work. So I bought an old scrappy one that can't move. The engine's gone in it, so it's going to be coming in.
There you are. You'll be going round all the machinery sales. You'll be at Lanark Market next, and goodness knows what. Big sales, yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. We're constantly scouting social media for tractors and things. Donald's at it as well. He just likes to tell me off when I do it, but he's made some terrible decisions, I think, actually. Yeah.
We don't need to go into that. And he's busy today. He's not able to talk to us today because he's trying to get the harvest in amongst all the showers and the rain. Is that right?
Yeah, so it's not been the best summer, to be honest. It's been a lot of rain, and the last few days it rains and then the sun comes out, but he's just about crying, actually, at his combine all the time. And he had an amazing day for combining, and the combine broke down, so...
Oh, is that just not always the way of it?
Yeah.
You can get going, but you can't get going.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's put him in a terrible mood.
Does the combine end up in here? Is this going to be the combine graveyard
Well,
next?
that's what I was saying, yeah. I mean, it's getting close. He's still fighting its case, but it's a pretty old combine. I was saying it could have a slide coming out of it.
We've missed the pigs. We've missed the pigs over there. That's pigs in that paddock?
Yeah, so they are
Shall we have a walk
Mangalitsa.
along? Shall we?
Yeah.
'Cause
They're
Did they-
very old pigs, old heritage pigs. I think they're one of the oldest breeds. They apparently make amazing charcuterie.
But you're not charcuterieing them. They're just here as...
Well, no, they were here for charcuterie, but I think the boar we got is a bit of a dud.
All right.
Yeah, because the girls have had piglets before, but they're not pregnant this year.
So now they're just a kind of come and see the piggy type thing. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
What have we got? Some goat kids in there? And
So this one here is Biscoff. So she is the kid of Ivy, who was on This Farming Life. She was the new wee goat we got.
And what's in the little boxes, the little hutches as well?
So these are our rabbits. Rabbits are a massive hit. So we do private birthday parties, so people can come and then they get involved with the rabbits. They love that. The rabbits come up and eat out of the kids' hands. The rabbits, Donald was very dubious about. He wasn't a fan at all, and he was getting a bit annoyed with me with all these rabbits because I had to drive to Perth to buy them. There's not a lot of rabbits up here. I don't know why. But he's like, yes, I have to eat my words. The rabbits are a very big hit.
I'll send you some rabbits.
You got rabbits?
Well, rabbits. I don't know about these. These are obviously special rabbits, but
Oh yeah, no, I've got a bit obsessed now, and I've got different varieties that, I maybe have gone a bit overboard on.
but if it works,
Yeah, it's nice to have different looking ones, I think.
if it works, and as you say, if the children are loving it and coming and feeding them and what have you, again.
Yeah.
And again, I'm going to guess, do you, charge and sell a bag of carrots or something like that? Is that how?
Yeah, we sell animal food, but the main thing, I think, is private bookings. Lots of people want to come and get involved with the animals. That's mainly what we have them for.
like a group of children on a birthday party day out or something like that, and you take them round and show them.
Yeah, so we have a tour guide that takes them and they interact with animals, feed them, get to pat them. Eventually we'll do trekking the alpacas, like wee mini treks, and they get in with the rabbits as well. And then we've got tour buses that come as well.
Oh, right.
So they come with coachloads of people over the summer. We had that, and then we had school bookings as well, so schools were coming.
Because, we're talking about Inverness here, but you're actually, you're where Loch Ness is there, is that
Just
right?
there, yeah, just where the hill comes down. Yeah, we're sandwiched right between two massive tourist destinations. So, and we're on the road to Skye as well, so we get loads of international tourists, which we've not had before. This is the first year, just with everything opening up again. We've been quite shocked with people like from Costa Rica, Bolivia, just places you didn't imagine people would be on your farm from. It's mad.
And again, if they're happy to let the children blow off steam and spend some money in the shop and have a look at this, what's not to like?
Yeah, and that's what I always thought it would be an area for people travelling, on a big long journey, maybe to Skye or the North Coast 500 or something, would let their kids burn off steam and then back in the car for another 4 hours.
Because if you come up the A9 or down the A9, you get to Inverness, that road, no disrespect to anyone in Inverness, but coming through there isn't really anywhere to stop other than like services or a garage or two or whatever. It's a kind of, you come through, and this is going to be a really good sort of stop off, isn't it?
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah.
You got it all worked out.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, there's a long way to go. I think what I ideally would like, you were asking earlier, what's the future? It would be like a big indoor area for kids to play, because we are really limited by the weather.
So not only is Donald going to lose that field, but he's going to lose one of these sheds as well, isn't he?
Oh, I've been on at him about the sheds. Yeah. That would be amazing.
See these cattle, Donald? Can they not just winter outside? Because that shed's going to have a whatever in it.
Yeah. There's a bit of a battle now between this and Donald's farm.
But on that, family farm, long-standing family farm, and then you want to do something slightly different. What an achievement! Yeah. You must be very proud of what you've brought here then.
It's funny, I actually thought that would probably be something you would say, like, look what you've done now. And I think that's something Donald and I are guilty of. We never stand and think, wow, look what we've done. We're always frustrated by what we're not getting done. So
life's like that. Life is like that. I find that, actually. I'm guilty of that. Life's like that and business is like that. To say that not that long ago it was just you, and now there's 15 employees or whatever. Yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah, I know. It's mad to just stand back and look and think, yeah, it was a field. That is pretty mad.
Joanna, it's been brilliant. It's been really great to be here, to see the place, but also how much progress even since that conversation with Anna. Is brilliant to see that. I can see that the family progress, and Penny's been brilliant. She slept through our chat there, but I think she's waking up. So we'll wrap up now, but thank you so much.
No, thank you so much for coming. It's so lovely to meet you in person and, chat about what we've been doing. So thank you very much.
That was great. Lovely place, lovely to see. I just think they're so ingenious. I think there's a lot going on here, which, just some bales, etc., but actually a big attraction for the general public. So, great place to visit. If you haven't already done so, get along. Massive thanks to our sponsor, Gillespie McAndrew, for supporting us with this episode. Maybe listen back to Anna's episode that was recorded remotely with Joanna and her husband Donald. But other than that, that's it from me, and bye for now.